Batman has been a popular superhero for decades, and his adventures have been adapted into various forms of media, including video games. The Batman video game franchise has come a long way. Over the years, the games have explored different interpretations of the Dark Knight, from action-packed beat-em-ups to immersive open-world adventures. Each game has offered fans new and exciting ways to experience the world of Batman and explore the complexities of the iconic character. Batman 1986 is an isometric platformer with a 3D-like design. The player must find and reassemble the parts of the Batmobile and regain his powers to rescue Robin. It's also worth mentioning that in the early years, the visual representation of games varied greatly across different platforms. In this 1988 video game, the Cape Crusader combines elements of arcade and adventure games to bring a unique gaming experience. Players get to see the story unfold like a comic book, with each new location opening in a new panel. The game has two parts. In the first part, you have to defeat Penguin's robot penguin army, and in the second part, you have to defeat the Joker and save Robin. The Batman 1989 game for the Grandstand Handheld console was one of the earliest Batman games to be released on a handheld device. The game features maze-like levels where players must navigate through various obstacles and fight enemies, such as Joker's henchmen. Another Batman LCD game was released in the same year by Tiger Electronics. Unlike the Grandstand version, this game had the same principle, where players were tasked with avoiding projectiles and fighting enemies. But it felt more one-dimensional due to the lack of the maze-like levels. The Batman the Movie video game is a side-scrolling action game where the player must dodge bullets and grenades and avoid toxic sludge and gas to stay alive. Batman has a limited number of lives and an unlimited supply of batarangs, which he can use to defeat enemies. The player can use ladders and the Batrope to access higher areas. Additionally, the game also features gameplay with the Batmobile and Batwing. Batman the video game is an action platformer featuring punching, kicking, and projectile weapons. The NES and Genesis versions are very similar, while the Game Boy has a run and gun gameplay style featuring a wide array of projectile weapons. PC Engine version is the most different, resembling a Bomberman clone. Like the last Batman games, Batman Arcade was based on the 1989 movie and was developed exclusively for the Atari Arcade, featuring high-quality sprites and beat-em-up gameplay. The game also includes exciting first-person Batmobile and Batwing sequences. Batman Return of the Joker draws inspiration from the Contra game series, including a variety of weapons and charge-up attacks. The Genesis and the cancelled SNES version go by a slightly different name, titled Batman Revenge of the Joker. Batman Returns is a game based on the movie with the same name, with different gameplay styles and graphics for each platform. Tiger Electronics' version is a shoot-'em-up with vehicular combat, while the Sega, NES, SNES, Lynx, and Amiga games offer beat-em-up or action platformer gameplay. The games on the Sega Genesis and the Sega CD are the same game, but the Sega CD has additional vehicular combat levels. The MS-DOS version stands out the most with its point-and-click gameplay, including dialogue and choices. Batman the Animated Series for Tiger Electronics is a handheld game that features simple gameplay. The player controls Batman as he fights his way through levels, dodging bombs and throwing batarangs at the Riddler, Poison Ivy, and Mr. Freeze. On the Game Boy version, Batman and Robin punches their way through levels with decent platforming, caked with an amazing atmosphere and story-driven cutscenes. The Adventures of Batman and Robin games vary across different platforms, which is a recurring theme. with differences mainly in the graphics, while the gameplay is mostly beat-em-up platforming. The Sega CD version features cutscenes from a lost episode of the animated series, and includes gameplay where the player drives the Batmobile and Batwing to shoot their way through levels. Justice League Task Force is a versus fighting game with high quality sprites for the time. The Cartoon Maker allows players to create their own animated episodes featuring the characters from the popular animated series. The game provides various tools, including backgrounds, music, and sound effects, to help players create their own unique episodes. Batman Forever is an odd one. Aside from the Tiger Electronics versions, they play exactly like their previous iterations. On the MS-DOS, Nintendo, and Sega consoles, the game did remind me of a particular popular game, Mortal Kombat. Well, that's because it uses the same engine, with its motion capture digitized sprites. Even the moves are exactly like its counterpart, but unlike Mortal Kombat, in Batman Forever while playing the game, it really felt clunky and slow. On the other hand, I did like Batman Forever the arcade much more, with a fast-paced gameplay and over-the-top moves, but the chaotic action and flashy graphics made it difficult to keep track of all the action happening on the screen. Batman and Robin Activity Center is an educational game aimed at children. It offers various activities such as coloring pages, matching games, and puzzles, all featuring characters from the animated series.
Address to me, Commissioner?
Partners in Peril is more of an interactive comic book rather than a video game, but I still decided to include it in the list. It features the 7th episode from the 1968 animated TV series, The Adventures of Batman.
Do this time, Robin?
Batman and Robin on thegame.com is a beat-em-up platformer just like the most handheld consoles so far. While on the PlayStation 1 we have the first open 3D world Batman game, where you get to drive the Batmobile and explore the city and solve missions. Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker is a beat-em-up platformer for the Game Boy Color, PlayStation, and Nintendo 64. It is based on the animated movie with the same name. The story is interesting, but the gameplay felt very repetitive after a short while. In Crime Wave, Batman has to take down Joker's henchmen and Harley Quinn, while traversing rooftops and disable transmitters to save Robin from the Joker's mind control signal. It's a short action-packed game that's perfect for a quick playthrough. In addition to the traditional platforming gameplay, in Chaos in Gotham, you'll also get to drive the Batmobile, use the Batglider, and ride Batgirl's Batcycle. Along the way, you'll face off against a variety of villains in boss fights and other challenges. Gotham City Racer is a vehicular combat game that allows you to race through Gotham City with the Batmobile and Batcycle, and hunt down villains such as Two-Face and Catwoman and many more. Batman Vengeance on Game Boy Advance is similar to the previous Game Boy Batman games. On the main consoles and PC, the game is very different. Being a third-person action adventure, also features animated cutscenes and voice acting from the cast of the animated series, which it was based on.
This isn't what you think, Batman.
Gauntlet of Doom lets you play as Batman and Superman, battling zombies and rats after being kidnapped by aliens. Yeah guys, I'm not making this up. Evolution of Evil is a simple yet satisfying browser game, where Batman uses his fists and kicks, as well as picking up objects to throw at enemies. Injustice for All and Chronicles for the Game Boy Advance are basic beat-em-up games with little to differentiate from the other action-adventure games. While the fans of the Justice League series will enjoy seeing their favorite heroes in action, the gameplay is formulaic and lacking in depth. Here we have another Flash game based on the animated film with the same name.
Look out, we're surrounded.
Gotham City Rescue is a kids game that has 4 learning adventures that challenge vocabulary, matching, math, and spatial skills. Batman Justice Unbalanced and Toxic Chill are puzzle games for kids that feature Batman and Robin.
It's the Batman again, sir.
When all of the open umbrella connections match, we can knock out those closed umbrellas. Let's get to work.
The game uses flash animation graphics and requires players to collect clues, solve puzzles and riddles to progress through the story.
Thanks. If we can open and close the correct valves, we can divert the chemicals to the control tanks at the very bottom. We must act quickly. The top tank is already overflowing.
Both games are very similar in gameplay but have different main villains.
A tank is...
Rise of Sin Tzu on handhelds is a simple and unsatisfying brawler with basic combat and minimal platforming, but it does have beautiful animations. While on the main consoles, we have a third-person arcade brawler with Batman having a range of moves, but they're not significantly stronger than each other. The levels are repetitive with the same objectives of saving civilians or defusing bombs, and boss battles follow simple patterns. Dark Tomorrow's frustrating controls, an enjoyable fighting system, flawed gadget implementation, and problematic camera angles lead to sloppy level design and accidental deaths. Rendered thugs quickly recover, making fighting pointless, but the game is easy to continue from the last save point with full health and refreshed equipment. The plug-and-play Batman game has 5 episodes, where you have to use your grappling hook, solve puzzles, and fight enemies with your batarangs. Divide, Multiply and Conquer, or Strength in Numbers, is a game aimed at teaching basic math, with side-scrolling levels that involve platforming and combat, while answering number questions to progress through key parts of each level. In Rooftop Caper, Batman navigates the rooftops of Gotham, jumping from building to building and using platforms to take down criminals in multiple levels. Surprisingly, the Cobblebot Caper is one of the better beat-em-up flash games I've played. The tie-in game from the Batman Begins movie was released for the mobile phones, portable, and home consoles. The game on the mobile devices feels very slow and clunky and hard to control. The GBA version is mediocre, with short and straightforward level design that rarely gives players the chance to use Batman's abilities to their full potential. Most enemies can be taken out easily with basic attacks, and there's little incentives to use stealth. The third-person action-adventure game is a bit better in this regard, including interrogations and a fear system that makes you feel like the Batman. However, the combat can get dull quickly. Justice League Heroes is an action RPG with fun, fast-paced gameplay, having good variety of moves and powers for each hero. The game features a nice mix of melee and range combat and allows you to upgrade your hero's abilities as you progress. However, the AI can be a bit lackluster at times, and the game can get repetitive after a while. Superman Batman Heroes United is another phone game that doesn't bring much. The characters have limited abilities and feel clumsy in combat. The level design is drab and uninteresting, making the graphics the best part of the game. Overall, an average game that may appeal to comic book fans. Dark Knight offers a mix of platforming and fighting gameplay. Fighting is a little repetitive, but the controls are fluid. Traversing levels is limited by the game's rules and prompts, with Batman only be able to swing or glide when the game allows it. Lego Runner is an endless runner game in the Lego Batman universe, where the player has to collect coins, dodge obstacles, and complete missions. In the Batmobile game, the player controls the tumbler by tilting their device and tapping on the screen to boost speed. It has good graphics for the time and realistic sound effects, but the gameplay is repetitive and lacks depth. The objective is to achieve the lowest time through the course by swerving around cars and jumping from rooftop to rooftop. Lego Batman the video game is a family-friendly action game, where players can control their favorite Batman characters to fight against villains, solve puzzles, and collect Lego studs. The gameplay involves exploration, combat, and puzzle solving, and features drop-in, drop-out co-op play. Mortal Kombat vs DC Universe is a fighting game with mechanics such as free-fall combat system that allows players to battle in mid-air, as well as close combat for close-range fighting. Brave and the Bold Gotham City Rush is a 2D side-scrolling action game where players control Batman and other DC Comics heroes to run, jump, and fight through Gotham City levels. Collect coins and power-ups to upgrade characters' unique abilities and attacks. Defeat villains and bosses like the Joker and Catwoman to save Gotham City. Batman Brawl is a boxing game that features Batman and Green Arrow, taking on fighters from different universes. A simple yet fun little browser game to play if you want to pass some time. Justice League Heroes United for the arcade is another beat 'em up that feels repetitive with some weird level design.
Oh, those are some nice shoes.
Hey, let's have some fun!
Where can I get a cake like that?
I've got your scent, Batman. I will hunt you down.
Arkham Asylum was a big one, with a revolutionary free-flow combat system that allowed for fluid and intuitive fighting mechanics, which became a staple of the Arkham series. Guardian of Gotham is a Java game where you control Batman's gadgets, such as batarangs and grapple hook, to take down enemies from a distance. The game focuses on crowd management and can get unforgiving when things get hectic. Countdown to Conflict is a flash brawler game with simple controls. The game emphasizes timing and strategy, with the player needing to dodge and block enemies' attacks while simultaneously attacking with their own punches and uppercuts. Dynamic Double Team is a game where the player must face unrelenting waves of enemies. When it gets tough, unleash Blue Beetle's powerful super attack to clear the screens of foes and turn the tide of the battle in your favor. Here we have the faithfully remake of the 1986 Batman game with improved sounds and graphics. Based on the hit animated TV series, The Brave and Bold on the DS and Wii is a beat-em-up platformer with some differences between them. On each level, you're able to summon and play as a different hero, giving the game more depth. The Wii also supports 2-player co-op, and if the DS version is connected to the Wii version, Batmite becomes a playable character with unique abilities. The visuals are beautiful, with detailed sprites and silky smooth animations, while on the Wii the sprites are more sharp, coupled with 3D background environments.
How do you know the thief was Catman? It was pretty dark.
Batman Ice Age is an action game set in Gotham City during winter. As Batman, you must navigate through various levels, collecting tokens, neutralizing enemies, and activating switches. Use your fighting skills and gadgets to defeat icy villains, including Mr. Freeze. The game features simple controls using arrow keys and spacebar. LEGO Batman the mobile game has two versions on the mobile platform, one with keypad controls and one with touch controls. Both are beat-em-up platformers, with the touch controls version having some extra puzzles and ability to build. Arkham City Lockdown offers a 1-to-1 combat using swipes and taps used to perform different actions. However, it can be repetitive and lacking in depth.
Die, freak!
Arkham City is pretty much Arkham Asylum on steroids, expanding into an open world with refined gameplay, more gadgets, improved graphics, and more villains, even adding Catwoman as an additional playable character.
With an exciting new opportunity. 2 opportunities. To join with...
DC Universe is your typical MMORPG where you create your own superhero. However, Batman and other heroes are only playable in PvP or PvE instances.
I am vengeance.
The mobile platform features 3 different versions of The Dark Knight Rises. The initial version is designed for lower-end phones, using keypad control to play. Compared to the 2008 Dark Knight game, it boasts more fluid combat, a better stealth system, and exciting Batcycle levels. Additionally, Catwoman is now a playable character. For those with Java touchscreens, the game has a higher resolution and more comfortable gameplay, free from inconvenience of small keypads. For Android and iOS users, The Dark Knight Rises offers an entirely different experience, reminiscent of Arkham City but optimized for the mobile platform. The level of polish and overall quality was truly impressive for its time. Battlestormer Classics is a beat-em-up where you fight different boss battles. You can play as multiple characters from Spawn to Robocop, created in the Mugen engine by the legendary Z Vitor and O Illusionista. Another game by Z Vitor is Justice League vs Street Fighter. It reminds me of the Justice League Task Force, having the same gameplay and graphics. Earth's Final Defense is a single-player RPG beat-em-up where you play as Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, with Green Lantern and The Flash as unlockable characters. You can level up, increase stats, and unlock abilities. LEGO Batman DC Superheroes is a fantastic sequel to its predecessor, LEGO Batman the video game. The game's improvements in storyline, gameplay, and dialogue, but what really sets it apart is the sprawling and immersive Gotham City that player can explore. However, it's important to note that the game's graphics differ depending on the platform. While the handheld versions have lower graphics and a top-down zoomed-in camera due to hardware limitations, and the main console versions offer a more expansive view and a higher fidelity graphics. Gotham City Impostors is an online first-person shooter game set in the Batman universe, with players choosing between two factions called Bats and the Jokers. The game features character customization that impacts gameplay and weapon loadouts. Gotham City Speed is a game where you drive the Batmobile and fly through the air collecting Lego studs and battling Batman's foes. Dodge obstacles and fight bosses like the Joker and Mr. Freeze with homing rockets. Use your in-game Lego stud collection to purchase Batmobile upgrades after each game. The Brawl is a boxing flash game where you fight different celebrities, this time featuring Batman. The objective is to fight and defeat him. Scribblenauts, a DC Comics adventure, is a puzzle game where players use a special notepad to create objects that help them solve puzzles and complete challenges. It features a story mode where players must team up with Batman and other heroes to stop various villains, including the Joker and Lex Luthor. In Batman Arcade, players engage in vehicular combat and have access to a vast array of weapons and power-ups to bolster their arsenal, with 10 Batmobiles to choose from, as well as aerial missions piloting the Bat. Young Justice Legacy on the 3DS is very different compared to the main platforms, being a mediocre and slow turn-based game with poor animations. On the main consoles, we have a dull action RPG with co-op features and a pretty good storyline. Gods Among Us for mobile devices features a gameplay style that is similar to Arkham City Lockdown, where players swipe and tap to execute combos. However, it also introduces a card collection system that allows players to collect various heroes and upgrade their abilities. On the main consoles, Gods Among Us is a traditional fighting game with additional special moves and interactive environments, with players able to use scenery to deal extra damage to their opponents. Each character also has a unique super move that can be unleashed after building up their meter during the fight.
Not right now.
Arkham Origins for mobile devices offers a similar gameplay experience to Arkham City Lockdown, with the exception of touch controls replacing the swiping mechanic. The game also boasts additional features such as fighting stances, more gadgets, and improved graphics. Arkham Origins Blackgate is a 2.5D Metroidvania game. The game features a combination of exploration, combat, and puzzle-solving elements. The combat is similar to the main series, with players able to perform combos, counters, and takedowns on enemies.
What is that? Behind you!
come on. Expect me to fall for that? I mean, try something.
Arkham Origins features a familiar gameplay style found in its predecessors, but with notable additions such as crime scene investigation mode and the ability to create and execute Batwing airlifts. The game presents a younger and less experienced Batman, which is evident not only in the story but also in the gameplay mechanics. As players progress, they witness Batman's growth and development through his mistakes and victories, which adds a layer of depth to the character. Batman Saw is a fan-made point-and-click puzzle game using flash graphics. The game involves exploring different locations, collecting useful items, and interacting with various characters to uncover clues and solve puzzles. Hero Run is a mobile game that combines the worlds of Batman and the Flash in an endless runner. In the game, players control either Batman or the Flash as they run through levels, dodging obstacles and defeating enemies. The LEGO Movie video game follows the events of the movie, where the player takes control of various characters to progress through levels filled with puzzles, combat, and platforming challenges.
Hey, nice work making that cloud float down by standing on it.
Thanks, babe.
All right, I get it. He's your boyfriend.
The game features over 90 playable characters from the LEGO Movie universe, each with their unique abilities that the player can use to solve puzzles and overcome obstacles. The game features a similar gameplay style to its predecessors, with players controlling characters from the DC universe, including Batman, Robin, and other members of the Justice League. One of the game's main features is its focus on space exploration and travel, as players can visit different planets and use different types of suits and abilities to solve puzzles and defeat enemies.
Well, I guess a little more destruction won't hurt.
Let's just get going.
The game introduces new suits with unique abilities that allow Batman and other characters to traverse levels and solve puzzles in different ways. LEGO DC Superheroes Team Up is a free mobile game with 6 characters and 1 arena. Players choose 3 heroes to battle 3 villains in a simple button-mashing combat system that lacks depth and strategy. LEGO Dimensions combines physical LEGO figures with a video game world, where players build LEGO figures to place them on a special base which transports them into the game. The game features various popular franchises such as DC Comics, The Lord of the Rings, and The Simpsons. Infinite Crisis was a DC mobile game by Warner Bros. It had a large roster of characters but faced issues such as balancing problems, lag, and a lack of creativity in character builds, causing a dwindling player base. The developer's failure to listen to experienced players also contributed to its closure. Batman Arkham Knight is the 4th game in the Arkham series, featuring improved graphics, expanded gameplay mechanics, and a larger open-world Gotham City. It also introduces the Batmobile as a playable vehicle. While the game received critical acclaim, it was criticized for over-reliance on the Batmobile and the controversial twist ending.
That takes care of the vehicle. Talk, or I'll crush every bone in your body.
Batman chases the red and black figure up the stairs to the roof.
Gotham City's Most Wanted is an interactive crime mystery storybook featuring Batman and other DC superheroes.
Summons the Batglider.
It is mostly a text-based adventure, but the player takes control of the Batglider and the Batmobile on occasion. LEGO DC Mighty Micros is a racing game featuring DC superheroes and villains. The graphics are cartoonish and the gameplay involves collecting studs and power-ups, while racing through city streets and avoiding obstacles. Batman vs Superman is a mobile game based on the 2016 superhero film Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. It's an endless runner game where the player controls either Batman or Superman, running through levels and fighting enemies while collecting power-ups and coins. The game features simple one-touch controls and high-quality graphics. DC Legends is a mobile turn-based combat where players can build their own team of characters, collect gear and upgrade abilities, and battle against other players in PvP matches. The game also has a campaign and a variety of daily challenges and events. Arkham Underworld is a strategy mobile game where players must take on the role of a criminal mastermind in Gotham City, building their own hideout and recruiting a team of villains to take on Batman and other enemies. Arena of Valor is a popular MOBA developed by Tencent Games. In partnership with DC, the game introduced several DC characters as playable heroes, including Batman, Wonder Woman, and the Joker. Building on the foundation set by the first season, The Enemy Within introduces new gameplay elements such as enhanced detective work and revamped conversation system.
Wondering if we'd cross paths.
You broke the law. Here I am.
It offers a more engaging storyline, deeper character development, and improved pacing and graphics, making it a clear improvement over its predecessor. Arkham VR is set within the same continuity as other Arkham games. It allows players to explore iconic locations like Wayne Manor and the Batcave, as well as interact with characters such as Alfred and Nightwing. The gameplay consists of solving puzzles and investigating crime scenes to uncover clues and progress through the story. Batman Crime Wave is a one-button video game based on the 1966 Batman TV show intro. The player punches thugs with the left and right buttons to get the highest score possible. Batman Shadow Combat is an action side-scroller with stealth gameplay mechanics. You can either play as Batman or Batgirl. This fan-made sequel to Justice League Task Force from the SNES and Genesis era is a spiritual successor in graphics and gameplay, featuring more characters and costumes. Created by the Mugen developer ZVtor, Task Force 2 improves on the original game's flaws, providing an updated version of an old classic. Justice League Legacy is the ultimate update of Justice League United game made by ZVtor. The game boasts over 50 playable characters, and it alternates shooting, racing, 2D and 3D implementations of the gameplay. Here we have one of the better endless runners out there, with Justice League Action Run having a wide variety of heroes, each with their own abilities, 150 missions and boss battles.
Let's ride.
The mobile version of the LEGO Batman movie game plays like any other endless runner. However, what sets it apart is Batman's funny quips and the Guitar Hero style minigame to continue after getting hurt.
My life is so great.
Plus, many other playable characters. Compared to Arkham VR, VRSE Batman focuses more on action with first-person stealth and third-person hand-to-hand combat. However, the camera and gameplay mechanics are disorienting and dull, while weak motion controls detract from the overall experience. Justice League VR is a lackluster package of short minigames featuring each member of the team. While driving the Batmobile as Batman can be exciting, the shooting mechanics are unsatisfying. The overall experience is boring, with serviceable controls and no music. Building on the foundation set by the first season, The Enemy Within introduces new gameplay elements such as enhanced detective work and revamped conversation system. It offers a more engaging storyline, deeper character development, and improved pacing and graphics, making it a clear improvement over its predecessor.
Come quietly. You won't get hurt.
Injustice 2 surpasses Injustice Gods Among Us with improved graphics, refined gameplay mechanics, a larger roster of characters with enhanced abilities and special moves.
You still don't trust me?
It also introduces a gear system to equip characters with the equipment for ability enhancement and a multiverse mode offering various challenges and rewards. DC Unchained is a fast-paced MMORPG with an engaging story mode, challenging PvP matches, and an extensive roster of iconic DC characters to choose from. Players can unlock and upgrade a variety of abilities and weapons, making each character unique and customizable. In DC Supervillains, the player teams up with the popular supervillains such as the Joker and Harley Quinn. Batman appears in the game as a supporting character, but he does not play a major role in the story.
Is it not?
Mugenation Battle is another fighting game made by Mugenation Gameplay, featuring a plethora of characters from different franchises. The LEGO Movie 2 video game departs from the traditional formula of the first game, featuring open-world environments and shallow, repetitive missions. Unlike the first game, Batman is not playable until the final part of the game. Savage Dawn is a short beat-em-up game made by Osman Color, and it's a simulation of 8-bit consoles with miniature figures similar to those of Infinity Beat-em-up. Cape Crusader Chase is an endless running game where you play as Batman chasing down the Riddler's men who are attempting to rob a bank in Gotham City. You can use the Batarang to catch the robbers and perform acrobatics. The game gets faster and harder as you progress, and you can buy upgrades from the shop using collected coins. My Legacy Mugen is a fighting game developed in Mugen Engine, but what makes it stand out is the insane amount of characters, counting up to over 3,000, each belonging from different IPs. DC Battle Arena is a mobile game featuring fast-paced 3 vs 3 battles with DC characters, each with unique abilities and moves. Players can form teams, collect gear, and climb the ranks in both casual and competitive game modes. Arkham Asylum Mobile is a fan-made game for Android made by Gerson Gomez. The game offers battle sequences, fighting waves of enemies. However, it does not have all the fighting moves from the original game. DC Worlds Collide is a strategy turn-based mobile game featuring a diverse roster of DC heroes and villains. In the game, you collect favorite characters, strategically use their abilities, and engage in hero-to-hero conversations. DC League of Super Pets is an on-rails action shooter game designed for younger players. Players control either Ace or Crypto, each with unique abilities to shoot and destroy Lex bots, maintain safety levels, and collect pet cards to save them from being pet-napped by Lex Luthor. MultiVersus is a free-to-play platform brawler featuring characters from the Warner Bros. Universe. It offers 1-on-1, 2 vs 2, and 4-player free-for-all matches, with them being fast-paced and thrilling. Characters have specific abilities that can buff their battling partners, and teamwork is emphasized. Gotham Knights focuses on RPG-style progression with loot and gear, making combat more reliant on player builds rather than mastering specific moves. The combat is also simplified compared to the Arkham series, with limited movesets for each characters and abilities locked behind skill trees. Multiplayer is a significant addition to Gotham Knights, not found in the Arkham series. Heroes and Villains is an action puzzle game set in the DC universe where players use a match 3 board to attack enemies. The game offers over 100 missions and challenges players to use their puzzle solving skills to quickly clear the board while battling powerful enemies. DC Dual Force is a digital card game where players create decks with 2 heroes or villains and use minion and action cards. It features a team-up mechanic, 40 card decks with rarities, and a 3x2 grid board. Leader abilities can be activated using charges. Cosmic Chaos is an upcoming action-adventure game with challenging puzzles to solve, formidable foes to defeat, and a host of exciting outfits and upgrades to unlock. What's more, the game offers couch co-op, letting you team with a friend or family member to save the world. The graphics are visually stunning, featuring a bright and colorful art style that's sure to captivate younger gamers. Ending with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, everyone and myself included are curious about how Batman will play into the story.
Help me!
Don't sweat it, Batman doesn't kill people.
But given the game's live service nature, some are less excited about the gameplay. And sadly, with the recent passing of Kevin Conroy, the voice behind Batman, this will be his final performance, leaving behind a legacy of iconic portrayals. So thank you, Kevin, for all of your years of dedication to the character and the fans.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.